Well, welcome back to another episode in A Spiritual Ascension, my own 5-year journey. If you're just coming into this video for the first time, I believe I haven't numbered it yet, but I'm thinking it's about 4950, and I've done already like 50 episodes. So please go back to the very first episode, and it's called The Intro, and go from there because I'm telling the whole story of my 5-year journey. Okay. So when I left off, I had met this older, I think she was almost like near 80, actually, African woman, and she had asked me to do a reading for her. And I already had an intuitive hit that spirit was leading me to her for a reason. And um, so I did the reading. We had met at a library, and she understood that I didn't have anywhere to go. So she's like, you know what? Come back, come home with me. And we ended up going back to her apartment in the Bronx. And I stayed with her. That was Saturday when I arrived, Sunday, and then Monday. And then Tuesday, I got up and she seemed to be changing a little bit. I don't know if she was had dementia because I could see like there was some things that she was kind of in the beginning, like really sweet and kind. And then all of a sudden there was this kind of edge to her. So, and understand too, as you're on your journey, there's going to be energies that kind of invite you in. And um, it's kind of like these people that are there to help you for a temporary time. And then when that kind of situation kind of changes, you feel a difference from that person. You know that the universe is trying to move you on. So I could feel her energy changing towards me. Um, I was at the point where the money that I had received for the reading that was using, to get food, and I had paid for our Uber ride from the library back to her home, was starting to dwindle. And I also, like, I had no, I still only had the pants that I had worn on the journey. So I had gone downtown, tried to find like the cheapest pair of like just like pull on pants, just at least to have two pairs of, I think I got a pair of leggings or something like that, just to have like an an alternate to my other pair, because the pair that I had originally um, left that house with, that's the same ones I had been wearing. So um, I spent a little bit of money on some leggings. I think I had got some shorts because now it's starting to get warm. So it wasn't a lot of money. Um, so I'm not sure how much I had left. Tuesday morning when I got up, I told her, I said, I'm going. Oh, she had told me, she says, I think it's time for you to leave. And I'm like, of course I wasn't going to fight her on that. And I was like, I didn't understand the reason why, but she was insistent that she says, I want you to leave. So I said, okay. Oh, let me think. I think she said, think about leaving. So that day I got up, and there was a library about a mile away. And I figured, let me go to the library, you know, kind of get away from her energy and do some thinking. And so I went there and spent a couple hours. And so now, if you remember, um, when I was still at the house in New Jersey, when I was had the roommate, there was that woman who had contacted me for a reading, and um, she lived in Queens, and she was a part of an organization. I forget what the organization is called, but it's like a form of like Japanese healing. It's not Reiki. Um, and that's what kind of drew in because I'm a Reiki master. So it kind of drew me in like, oh, I'm kind of interested to know more about this. So I had gone to the city to attend an event with her with this organization. We had gone out to lunch afterwards, and that's how I kind of got to know her. Anyway, as I'm sitting in the library, I'm saying, Spirit, what should I do now? I don't know where to go. I know this lady wants me to leave here. And um, so this woman who was a part of that organization, she kept coming to mind. And she had just emailed me a couple days before, which kind of was a hit too. And I'm saying, it's always say like, Spirit, do you want me to contact this woman, And like it was on the back of my mind, but I really didn't know her that well. Like I had done the reading for her and I had met her for those couple of hours that I had attended her event and had gone to lunch with her and her group. So when I left the library, I got back to the apartment with the older woman, and she was just kind of like, okay, it's kind of time for you to leave. And now it was probably like 3, 4 in the afternoon. And like I was kind of like, oh my God, like where am I gonna go? Like middle of the city, especially being in the Bronx, I didn't know that much about the Bronx. So I got my few things together and left her house and got on the subway and headed downtown into Manhattan and got off on 42nd Street where Bryant Park is. And if you remember, I had said that that first night that I had gotten to Manhattan, I ended up in Bryant Park that morning. So I knew that there was tables and chairs kind of around there. And I couldn't think of anywhere else safe to really go. Like that area I know is pretty safe. Um, So I just kind of got off Grand Central Station, walked down a couple blocks, and I was in Bryant Park. And I sat down at a table, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. And probably within a half an hour later, my friend from Brooklyn, the one I had stayed in um, the apartment with for that week and a half, he called. And it was just kind of so weird because I hadn't heard from him in probably like a day or so. And he's like, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in Bryant Park." And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm kind of just sitting here." And he says, "I thought you were with that older woman." I said, "No, she had told me to leave." So he's like, "Okay, come to Brooklyn and I'll get you a hotel for tonight." So I ended up back down in Brooklyn. And again, he said, "This is it. This is it. You got to find a solution. Like, you're going to have to go to the shelter tomorrow or whatever." And I said, "Well, I really think I have an idea of where I'm being led now." And this woman who I had met, I feel like I'm being called to contact her now. And so that night I stayed in the hotel. And the next day I got up and I had emailed her actually while I was at the library, this woman who was part of this organization. I had emailed her and I had said, is there a possibility I could speak with you sometime tomorrow? And she says, "Oh, yeah, you can call me." So After I got up in the hotel, I ended up calling her and I told her my circumstances. And I said, I don't know. I feel like, because she was very spiritual also. I said, I feel like I'm being called to ask you if there's a possibility that I could stay with you for a couple days. And she's like, well, I really don't have room, but I have a pull-out couch. And she says, I have to go to the doctor's. This is now Wednesday morning. I have to go to the doctor's, and after I go to the doctor's, I can pick you up in downtown Brooklyn. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was just like elate, like I knew that spirit was leading me to her, but like like just not sure, like, is this gonna work? Is she gonna be acceptable to this? And it's kind of odd too, like, but it's like the people you meet along the way that are there to help you. So understand that someone coming into your life, even though they may not mean anything right at this point, at some point they may, Um, so I'm going to leave it there and I'll pick it up from, so it'll be Wednesday evening when I actually meet her downtown Brooklyn. Okay. So I'll see you in the next one.